and welcome to this video. So today is going to be another manga haul. So usually I do these once a month because I don't like them being too big, because I like having time to talk about the series and stuff like that rather than having just loads of volumes in one haul. However, I skipped last month because I was very busy and I didn't have time to film it. So this is the accumulation of 2 months, which isn't a lot compared to some hauls, but it's a lot for me, so hopefully this video won't be too long. But there will be timestamps for all the series down below, so if I'm talking about something for too long or something you don't care about, you can skip on to the next one. Do whatever you want, enjoy this video how you want to. So we're gonna start with the first series, which these are in no particular order, it's just gonna be as I am picking them up. First up, we have volume 16 of Toilet Band Hanako-kun. This was a pre-order and it took ages to come because of where I pre-ordered it from. They were having some warehouse issues, but I finally got it. I think with this volume, the yen press licensing has kind of caught up similarly to where it is in Japan, so the releases of these volumes are going to be a lot slower because it feels like I was getting one every haul, but yeah, they're going to be a lot slower now. This is a supernatural series set in high school about ghosts and mysteries within the school, and specifically one girl who basically comes across all the mysteries, starting with Hanako-san, who is actually a male ghost, even though in the original tale it's normally a female ghost, which is where the title of the series comes from. So this is a series that is obviously well known for its art. I thoroughly enjoyed the story as well. This is one of my favourite ongoing series at the moment, and yeah, I've loved the turn that the series has been taking. It starts off a bit more light-hearted maybe, but it gets progressively darker as it goes on. But I would argue that in the beginning those dark elements are there, they're just hidden more by comedy, you know? But yeah, so that is Toilet Band Hanako-kun volume 16. Next up, we have Doughnuts Under a Crescent Moon, Volume 1. I have needed Volume 1 for a long time. I've had Volume 2, and I've actually already read this volume, and I've read up to Volume 2, but I didn't want to continue collecting the series until I had Volume 1, which obviously I now have. So now I'm on the hunt for Volume 3, which is now out of stock. Obviously, now that I have Volume 1, why would Volume 3 be in stock? But Volume 4, and I believe that's the final volume, comes out next year, so it's my goal to hopefully find it by then and read the last 2 volumes together. This is a workplace romance series about these 2 girls, and specifically this one here, who basically is having trouble when it comes to dating, and she thinks there's something wrong with herself. She ends up becoming closer friends with her co-worker, who is this girl. From there, a friendship develops and something more potentially, and yeah, I just really enjoy this. This has been my favourite GL series that I've read so far, and I really adore this one, so I'm hoping it has a good last 2 volumes to wrap up the series nicely. I also like the fact that it's not too long. If anyone has any other recommendations for GL series that are kind of in a similar vein, I really want to try Goodbye My Rose Garden, which is a more historical set one, but I really like historical series. But yeah, if anyone has any other recommendations, I would highly like it. Also, I would just like to say this volume is really heavy. I mean, it means it's good quality, so I'm not going to complain, but I just was not expecting it when I picked it up. And next up, we have a series that has been making a frequent appearance on this channel because I am slowly but surely trying to catch up with collecting it, and that is Noragami. Today I have volumes 11, 12, 13 and volume 14. So Noragami, once again, is a supernatural series. I feel like I've explained this series so many times, and I started off being really bad at explaining it, but I think I kind of thought of a way to explain it. So it's about gods in Japan. In particular, it's about a no-name god called Yato, who is trying to do odd jobs to kind of keep his name out there, because gods need wishes to survive, and if no one's giving him wishes, he wouldn't be able to survive as a god. So he is doing these odd jobs to make a name for himself. I really remember enjoying this series. I'm currently on the process of rereading back up to where I originally read to on scans several years ago, which I think is up to volume 2022, so I already know the majority of what's going to happen, but it's been so long, so I didn't want to just start up again. I wanted to read it all through physically, so I'm in the process of that at the moment, and I'm still thoroughly enjoying it. It's definitely a tug at your heartstrings kind of shonen series, and I'm hoping next month maybe to finish up collecting it and just doing a dedicated bulk buy to catch up with the volumes, so it's done by the end of the year, so hopefully that'll be the case. Next up, we have a bit of change in tone. We have The Girl from the Other Side, the first edition of the hardcover re-releases, I guess, omnibuses. So this was a series that I picked up in October for a spooky read, and I was very surprised about the series. So to give a brief description, it is a fantasy series set in a world where there are those on the inside and those on the outside. Those on the inside are kind of just regular people, and those on the outside are those who have been cursed and have turned into beasts, and if those on the outside touch those on the inside, they'll also become outsiders essentially and turn into these beasts that have this curse on them. And it follows this little girl who has been kind of taken in by one of the outsiders because she has seemingly been abandoned in the outside. So I've been interested in this series for about a year, and I was trying purposely not to look too much about it because obviously I don't want spoilers or anything like that. And going into it, I thought it was going to be a cute, like, wholesome feels series about this girl and this monster who have a cute relationship, and it was going to be like 60% like wholesomeness and 40% feels of like, oh no, they can't be together, you know, that kind of stuff, right? And after reading this edition, because I have read this first edition, I can say I was very, very surprised because it's about 10% wholesomeness, 90% wow, this is actually really dark, and yeah, not that I'm complaining at all. I love dark stuff and dark themes, and this is like perfectly up my alley, and the gothic style just like complements the story so well. But yeah, it was just not what I was expecting when I was going into it. So when certain things happened, I was like, wow, okay, was not expecting that. But yeah, I highly recommend this. This series deserves the hype, and also these editions are beautiful. I was actually going to buy the singles, but I saw how nice these hardcovers were, and I also really like the fact that they're small. Like, I know a lot of people like the big deluxe hardcover editions like Berserk has. I don't really like them just because I find them really uncomfortable to read just because of the way I read, and I like how small and compact this is, and it's not too heavy, and yeah, it's really nice and pleasant to read through. I really enjoyed reading through this edition, both for the story and for the fact that like it was just such a nice book to read through. I know that sounds really odd, but like it really was. So yes, highly recommend this series, and also recommend these hardcover editions because they're so nice. I also got this for like a really nice price. I got this for like £20 when it was $35 retail, so won't be complaining about that. Next up, we have a series that I didn't think was going to make it in time for this haul, but it arrived yesterday, and I'm so happy about that. And that is Hirano and Kagiura Volume 1. I can't believe that this series has got an English release. So for those who don't know, this is a spin-off series to Sasaki Miyano, but you don't have to have read Sasaki Miyano to read this. Is like its own standalone series. Obviously, I recommend Sasaki Miyano as well. This series follows two characters from the series, or particularly one from Sasaki Miyano because the other one doesn't really appear in the series, and it's the life of him and his roommate and just the kind of relationship between them. I just really love this author's writing style so much. I love their art, and I can honestly admit I have read this through scans, so I already read the series, but I have already also reread this volume even though it only arrived yesterday because I was so excited for it, and I will be rereading it as the English volumes come out, just as I have done for Sasaki Miyano. Highly recommend checking this out if you enjoy the BL series. For those who have read Sasaki Miyano, this one's a little bit more angst and drama, I would say, compared to Sasaki Miyano, because Sasaki Miyano has more like just wholesome moments, a couple like arguments, but they get resolved very quickly. This one, that like I feel like there's a bit more tension, not to the extent of some stories, but yeah, and it was also a slower burn compared to your typical BL stories for those who read it. So yes, I also love the fact that finally Navashi has come into the English audience, and from this first volume, people might not like him that much, but Navashi is like amazing and one of my favourite characters in the series, and from the second volume I hope people will understand why I love them so much. So yes, that is Hirano and Kagiura Volume 1. Can you tell I was excited about this? I was really excited about this. Okay, next up I have an unexpected series in this haul, and that is Tokyo Aliens Volume 1. So this series is a sci-fi action series. It's basically set in a world where aliens are able to come to Earth as kind of like a holiday destination or as tourists, or they could just live lives here. And in particular, it follows an organisation that goes after aliens that are breaking the rules or aren't going home when they should be and things like that. But the main character of the series, which isn't this person, it's actually a different character, he basically gets entangled in this organisation by accident and ends up joining it. This series, I say it's an unexpected series because I'm not a sci-fi fan. I'm like really not a sci-fi fan. And I enjoy stuff with time travel elements, but anything involving like aliens in space, I typically don't like. So you may be wondering why I have this volume. Well, you see, I was browsing on Twitter, and on Twitter I saw a advertisement for a cafe that was happening in Japan for the series, and I saw a piece of artwork which I'll try and find to show, and I actually really liked the character designs for like a lot of the characters, so it made me interested in the series. So I looked it up and saw that it was published in G Fantasy, which is a shonen magazine which has a lot of series that I tend to like. So ones that are currently ongoing in there are like Black Butler, Hanako-kun. For some ones that I've already finished publishing, there was Pandora Hearts. Horror Mia was originally published in there as well. So I tend to just really like the works that are published in that magazine. And then I also saw that the author of this series wrote another series which I have read and watched the anime for, called Aoharu X Machine Gun, which is like, it's a very weird series. It has a lot of weird elements, but I remember overall enjoying it after looking at the art and the premise of the series, which, even though it is a sci-fi setting, the actual premise is very similar to a lot of more fantasy works that I consume, where it's like there's this organisation that handles supernatural creatures. There's so many series that like have that kind of general premise, I guess, and then it's just built on top of. So I decided to give this series a shot. And from this first volume, I can confirm there's still some weird elements, but like overall I'm intrigued and interested. So I think this is going to be a series that I'll continue collecting until either I'm not enjoying it, or if I finish it and then I'm like, okay, I'm content with this, I might sell it. But like for now, I'm going to try collecting it as it goes. It is published by Square Enix. I also feel like not many people know this series is releasing, so like give it a shot if you enjoy aliens and stuff. The art is actually really nice in this series. I don't remember the art in Aoharu X Machine Gun being this nice, but like it's really nice in this series. So yes, this is a unlikely pickup from me. And next up we have another pre-order which took a while to arrive, and that is the Apothecary Diaries Volume 6. This is a historical mystery series set in China and the Chinese court specifically, and it follows this girl called Mama, who originally was taken to be a servant in the palace but was found to have good apothecary knowledge, and so she became a taste tester for one of the concubines in the palace. But basically she uses her apothecary knowledge to help solve mysteries, and it has a little bit of like an episodic feel, but in the end there is an overarching story and it all does connect together. This is just a really good solid mystery series. It's also nice to have a mystery series with a female protagonist that isn't just like a side character, and Mama is just like a great character in general. I also enjoy all the side characters in the series. The mysteries are intriguing enough, the art is nice, and yeah, I just really recommend the series. I actually haven't read the series in a while because I had originally read it online, and now I'm waiting for the English releases to catch up to where I had read online, which was around like, I want to say volume 8 or 9. So if you ask me what's actually going on in this volume, I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I remember enjoying it, and I'm gonna be rereading from the beginning once it finally catches up to where I was. Also, the covers are always so beautiful, so the Apothecary Diaries Volume 6. So next up I have another new series to my collection, and this was another pickup that I started getting on October, and this month I ended up getting more volumes just because of like Black Friday deals and things like that. So I got the first 2 volumes in October, which is Volume 1 of The Witch and the Beast, Volume 2, and then this month I picked up Volume 3, Volume 4, Volume 6, and Volume 8. So these are a little bit out of order. I do plan on getting the missing numbers, which I believe I need 5, 7, and 9, and then I'm caught up with what is currently released in the UK for this series, so that is my intention in December. I have actually only read Volume 1 of this series so far. To give a brief premise, it is another fantasy series, and it follows 2 characters whose names are escaping me right now. I know one of them's called Godot, and I can't remember the name of the other one, but basically they're investigating witches because they want to remove a curse that has been put on them, or I can't remember if it's Godot specifically, and that's just kind of the general premise. From the first volume, I enjoyed it. I wasn't like completely gripped, which is why I haven't read the second one yet, just because when I was reading it, it was late at night and I wasn't gripped enough to read the second one because I was tired. I do plan on continuing it though. I do have high hopes. The art is beautiful and the story premise does sound interesting. I just haven't become invested enough in the characters that have been introduced to be like thoroughly involved with what's going on, I guess. I am very interested in a character that got introduced in the latter half of Volume 1. I'm also very curious if within the series they basically presented the fact that like witches are bad and horrible and they're always bad, and no matter what you say they'll always be bad, and I can't tell. Like at the moment I feel like that's just like a prejudice that has been set on the witches, and especially because our main characters really don't like witches, so I'm finding it hard to be like, yeah, all witches are bad, down with the witches currently. Like at the moment it feels like there's some kind of prejudice set, despite the fact of certain events in the first volume. I just feel like there might be more to the story than is being told, so yeah, I'm interested to see if that is true, if it is really the fact that like all witches are inherently bad, or if there's going to be more to the story, and yeah, I'm just interested to see where it goes. So that was The Witch and the Beast. And then next up we have a series that needs no introduction on my channel, that is Yona of the Dawn. I have volume 14 and volume 16. I'm just catching up with reprints and I'm so very close to being caught up with all the Yona of the Dawn volumes that I need. I believe I need volume 13, 15 and 7, and then I will be completely caught up with Yona of the Dawn, and I'm definitely 100% doing a complete reread of the series physically once I have all of the English volumes, and I'm very, very excited to do that. Yona of the Dawn is my favourite ongoing series, for those who don't know. It is a historical fantasy series about a girl called Yona who is the princess of the Coca Empire, and she is very sheltered and spoiled, but due to certain events she is forced to leave the castle with only her bodyguard. She basically learns what the outside world is really like. She has amazing character development. I know that sounds like such a random point to make, but just like the character development in this series is just, it's so good. It's like, if anyone wants to do a study on how to do good character development, I'm just telling you, just read Yona. Just read it. All the characters are great, the cast is great, the story's great. Like, there isn't a single arc where I'm like, wow, this is boring. Even like the slightly fillery stuff I enjoyed so much just because I enjoyed the characters so much. We're also at a point where, similar to Hanako-kun, the releases have very much caught up to where it is in Japan, so releases for this series are going to be a lot slower now. I think the next one doesn't come out until April, maybe May, I can't remember. So that is Yona of the Dawn. Check it out, please. I know it's very long and it seems very daunting, but please check it out. And next up I have another series that I've been slowly trying to collect and fill gaps of in my collection, and that is Black Butler, one of my other favourite ongoing series at the moment. So today I have volume 10, volume 19, volume 20 and volume 23, which a lot of these covers are some of my favourite covers in the series as well, so I'm very happy to finally have them. Like this one, I really love this character's design. I hate them as a character, but I really love their design. But yes, Black Butler is a supernatural historical mystery series set in 1800s Britain, and it follows a young earl who has become the earl of his family while being very young, due to the fact that his family have been killed, and outside he has a demon as a butler, and he's essentially trying to find out who killed his family while working as the Queen's Guard dog and investigating mysteries in London's underground, or Britain's underground. So it has a lot of dark themes, and it's definitely a series you should look at the content warnings and trigger warnings for before going into it, because they're just like a lot of things, a lot of bad things going on in this series, but I adore it very much. I don't know what it is about this series that has such a charm. The art progression as well throughout the series, like the beginning of the series is definitely the weakest part of the series, and I can understand why some people might be put off from the beginning volumes, but like it just becomes such a meticulous series, and I'm always on the edge of my seat when I'm reading the latest updates. So yes, that is Black Butler. Woo! And then next up I have the last manga series in this haul, but there's a couple other things after that. So this is the series I also got the most volumes for this month. So it is Children of the Whales, and I've got volume 4, volume 5, volume 6, volume 7, volume 8, volume 9, volume 10, and lastly volume 12. For those who are wondering where volume 11 is, I bought it from somewhere else and it is not here. So we have volumes 4 to 10 and then volume 12 of Children of the Whales. This has been my most, like, I guess surprising read of the year. At the moment I've only read the first 2 volumes, and as soon as I get volume 11 I'm planning to binge up to volume 12 before buying anything else, so I'm not going all in yet. But this series is incredibly intriguing. It is a fantasy series about these group of people that live on this island called Mudwell, which is a moving island, and on this island there are those who are marked and those who are unmarked. Those who are unmarked are just like regular people who live to old age, whereas those who are marked die early, but they have magical abilities. For the first time on this island, they find someone who wasn't originally living on the island, and it causes kind of an uproar, and from there things go from 0 to 100. It gets very intense very quickly. It's very jarring, I feel like, when you're reading the first volume, but it's also very gripping, and literally the only reason why I haven't read past volume 2 is because I knew I'd want to binge read it because of just how gripping the story seems to be. So yes, I'm planning, as soon as I get volume 11, to read up to volume 12. I know it sounds like I have a lot of reading to do, but like, I will blitz through it, don't worry. Like, also, obviously, art is gorgeous in this. I feel like I've said this with every series, but just like, all the art is just so pretty. Like, I can't change that fact. I think out of every series I've talked about today, this is the most underrated one at the very least, and so I really hope more people check it out, because it just amazes me that more people don't talk about the series. From, as I said, the first 2 volumes, maybe it progresses into something, but from what I've heard, it continues to be good, so like, I'm looking forward to finally catching up with it. Cool. And then for the last 2 things, I actually have a light novel. It's called a light novel, but like, I don't think that's a very light novel. Officially it is a light novel. I picked this up on a whim. I discovered this release by accident and the cover art looked pretty, and then I looked at the premise and I was like, you know what, I feel like reading. I have already started reading this. This is called Wait For Me Yesterday in Spring. It's about this guy called Kane, I believe is how you pronounce it. And he used to live on an island, but he moved to Tokyo with his father. But after having an argument with his father, he ran away back to this island. After coming back to this island, he is suddenly transported 5 days into the future, where the brother of his childhood friend and crush is now dead, and so he is now experiencing the events of the past 5 days backwards, and he's trying to figure out how he died and if he can basically save his life. Yeah, I was just very interested by the premise, to be honest. I have no idea what to expect from this series, if it's going to be a happy ending or what. I've only just started reading like the first couple chapters, so I'm not really that far into it, but I'm looking forward to see where this is going. And as I said, it was just an unexpected pickup, but I thought I'd talk about it since I did get it with a whole bunch of manga on a Black Friday sale, so yeah. And for the last pickup of this video, I got another manga magazine. So this is an edition of Gangan Joker, which is the magazine that Quesadilla Vanitas is published in. So obviously I have a Vanitas cover here. It did come with a special benefit as well, which is this like poster or postcard of one of the volume covers with Astolfo on it. It has cool like holographic text, but this is what I got it for, this cover, which I thought is super cute. I was honestly debating getting it for a while, but I was like, I don't have any Vanitas covers and this is super cute. So here we have Noe and Vanitas being all warm and cozy in the winter, which I think is very fitting for the season as well. So yeah, this is also a really thick magazine. Like, this is probably the thickest one I have. But yeah, I just wanted to share this manga magazine as some people like to see them, so yes, this is my latest pickup and I just like picking these up. They're just really fun collector's items, they're very cheap, so yes, recommend if you are a big fan of a specific series trying to find a cover of it, because they're just also very aesthetic. But yeah, so that is that. And I believe that was everything in this haul. I feel like I talked very quickly because I was trying to get through things, so hopefully I wasn't mumbling over my words too much, and I also hope you enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Stay happy, stay healthy, all that fun stuff, and yeah, bye bye!